Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Masters of the Universe Tuesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia Buzz Off. Let's get into it! Let's begin our nest's defense of Ambrosia with a look at the packaging. And here on the top we have 30 points of articulation, a barcode, and a hook here on the top flap. Masterverse, and that nice cracked, scrolly circuitry background that we've come to expect from this line. 6 and up, nice big window showcasing the figure and his accessories. Masters of the Universe New Eternia Buzz Off Mattel. On this side, Buzz Off Spy in the Sky. And on this side, some nice artwork of Buzz Off. Looks like he's ready to sting somebody. And then on the back, Masters of the Universe New Eternia original designs inspired by classic concepts. And then here it says, Buzz Off, Spy in the Sky. After the cataclysm destroyed the Great Queen's Nest, Eternia's bee people, known as the Andrenids, nearly collapsed as a society. They were saved by the warrior lord Buzz Off, who reclaimed order and set off to establish a new home for his people as their king. And then there we have some very nice artwork of Buzz Off buzzing about. Here we have the cross sale Merman Grizzlor, Buzz Off, and Faker. Also available each sold separately, subject to availability. Custom decoration may vary. Mattel empowering the next generation to play recycled stuff in a tray. And that, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers. And let's start with the accessories. And first of all, here we have his helmet, which to me is a much more New Eternia styled than his original helmet. But this looks a lot better than his original helmet as well. And it is molded in a translucent colored plastic, and then it's got these paint apps for the eyes, and I think they look pretty darn good. Next up we have his weapon, which is an axe, just like the original came with, and just like the original figure, it does have this strap, because the original figure did not have articulated claws for hands. You just had to slip the axe over with using this band. You had to kind of wedge it onto his claw. Now it does have some nice molded details in there, like this is all rough looking, and then it's got some nicks in it. And then nice details for the handle. The strap, of course, kind of stands out a bit. But overall, it's nice looking. And even though it does have the strap kind of distracts from it a little bit, it is a nice throwback to that original figure. And then here's another of his new Eternia pieces, which is a chest harness, and it's got this gem in the middle of it, and it's translucent, and it's kind of plugged in there. Probably got a little bit of glue. And then these straps go around the neck and around behind the wings. And anyway, we'll get to that in just a minute. And then it straps in, of course, just like Masters of the Universe armors normally do. And there we go, bumping the camera. Because what's a Digital Caveman review without bumping the camera? Boop. Beep. And now let's take a look at the figure himself, and it's got a lot of nice molded detail throughout the figure. I mean, just on the head alone. I mean, look at that. And then he's got these pieces that look like they're actually mechanical pieces over his eyes. And then nice paint apps. I mean, it's probably molded in this color, and then all this is paint apped on there. I'm not too sure how I feel about the jawline there. It looks kind of like he's smiling. Maybe he's a happy bee. And then we got all kinds of little molded details. I mean, just throughout, there's just a lot of it. A lot going on this guy here on the legs, on the wings even. And as far as the wings go, they did change it up from Sunman a little bit, although they're still not on a ball joint. This one is actually a little loose, but you can separate the wings, and then this one does have a hinge in it, and you can see it's got a cut in it right there to allow for the hinge. And like I said, this one's a little loose, and it sometimes pops out. Well, either one of them sometimes pop out when you're articulating them. So not the best peg system they got going on here. Let's see. There's not enough on the end here to kind of keep it from popping out. But you know, if you want to pop the wings out for some reason, you can do that. And he's got some nice paint apps here across the chest, and they do go all the way around the back. This belt, I do believe, is molded in color, and I could be wrong. It kind of looks like it's a separate piece from the loincloth and the side armor pieces here, but it's hard to tell really. Like, it's not loose separate piece, but like a glued on separate piece. But I don't really think that it is. So I think it's all molded in this swirly twirly kind of bronze maybe color. And then this is a paint app, but no, it really does look like a separate piece. It's really hard to tell, my friends. And then we got some, I don't know if this is paint spatter or if it's supposed to be like that, because it's not like that on the other side, so it must just be some paint spatter. And it's on both sides of the arm, so it even goes up the arm. So now there's a little bit of it here as well. So, and then he's got these horn pieces, I guess, thorns, stingers down both sides of his legs. And I can see they've probably reused these on Clawful, and they'll probably reuse them on Whiplash too, as the feet as well. And then this looks like, and still a lot of nice molded details even in the shins here and the feet as well, but they're all molded in color. And then there's some more of that paint spatter, so it looks like it is an on-purpose deco. Well, let's talk about his articulation. He can look up that high, he can look down that low, and of course you can see it's on that dumbbell type joint. He's got some chicken neck going on. He does have some waggle. He can do the full exorcist. At the shoulder, comes out not quite 90 degrees. Does have a full 360 degree rotation there. There's a cut here where the shoulder and the upper bicep meet. Gives you another 360 degree rotation. Double hinged pinless elbow, and it gives you that much bend, so that's pretty cool. 360 degree rotation at the wrist, and it's not hinged in the fact that it will go in and out or up and down, but it does have a hinge in it that allows the claw to open and close. And if you notice, it does have a little round piece in there, and that facilitates him holding his weapon. So that's pretty cool. Then these bracelets are separate pieces, and you can take them off if you want to. Pop the claws out and have fun with that. I already went over the articulation for the wings for the most part, but they do spin. They can spin all the way around, right on out of the place they're supposed to be. Cut where the chest and the abdomen meet. It gives you all kinds of rocky hula motion going on there. Tilts back that far, forward that far, and then of course tilting left and right and all around. And then it will do a 360 degree rotation there as well. And then there's a cut at the waist for another 360 degree rotation. At the hips, he will give you that much of the splits. Kicks forward that far. And I think that's the mold holding it up, not the overlay piece. Kicks back about a half a step maybe. Cut at the upper thigh for another 360 degree rotation. Double hinged pinless knee. It's a little tight, and I did soak this dude in some hot water to loosen everything up, and that's still tight. But anyway, knee gives you that much bend. And there's a cut at the shin, gives you another 360 degree rotation. And then at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, which isn't much. And then he does have a pin for a rocker. Now, as far as his accessories goes, I already showed you how the axe works. As far as his harness goes, again, you put it over his head. It goes in between his wings, then under his arms, and then you just feed these through. And I'll have to say, the harness feels like it's not quite big enough. The latches never really take, but of course it is a very, very soft plastic as well, the harness is. So as far as the harness goes, you might just have to fake it. And then, you know, I think that looks alright on him. And of course, when I just moved it, it did come untabbed, and it won't tab in and stay in place, I don't think. At least I haven't been able to get it to, while I've been fiddling with it a little bit before I started the review. And so that's probably about as good as it gets. Then as far as this helmet goes, just kind of started at the back, and I guess you could probably leave it like that if you wanted to give him kind of that more classic look. But you just pop it down over his head until it covers his eyes good. And it does give him a little bit more of an insectoid look. Not necessarily a bee, but because he's got these mandible pieces here. But definitely buggy. And then again, the axe, you can kind of hold in his hand. And the way that works, the way that works would also work well with a spear, which the Mike Young version, I think, had a spear. But at any rate, my friends, that is a look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse New Eternia Buzz-Off, with the Masters of the Universe, Rulers of the Sun, Sunman, and the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, New Eternia Stratos. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia Buzz-Off, with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From the G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant, Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And our final Masterverse comparison, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, New Eternia Buzz-Off, I have to say, I do give this guy high marks. I do appreciate the detail put into this guy. Although, I do realize, like, his arms and legs are going to be reused a lot. Maybe even the torso pieces. Like the original, you know, his body was just reused all throughout. And, you know, just, that goes for the whole original Masters of the Universe line. There was just a lot of parts reuse, and that's fine. I never had an issue with it as a kid. I don't have an issue with it as an adult. I do like the fact that his claws or pinchers, whatever you want to call them, are hinged where they can open and close. One thing I think they missed is probably, you know, giving it a hinge in there where they could go up and down or side to side even. You know, side to side would have actually been a good deal on this guy. He kind of suffers at the wings a little bit. I really still wish they would go to a full ball joint at the wings. Although, I will say, they have made some improvements on the wings versus Sunman's wings. You know, he does. They peg in, but there is also a ball joint for those outside wings. Or the top wings, the large wings, whichever you want to call it. And I have to say that the colors and the overall look of the character is a great throwback to that original Buzz-Off figure. And then I think they also kind of threw in some of the 2001 series features into it as well. Like the face, it's more elongated and insect looking rather than rounded like the original figure was. And he just looks to me, more insectile than the original figure. I like the fact that, you know, they gave that nod to the original figure having the strap on the weapon, because, you know, its claw actually couldn't hold it. And as far as the new pieces go, the new styled helmet, I think it looks more ant-like than bee-like, but it also gives the figure a kind of fierceness. Without the helmet, his face looks a little bit on the silly side, I guess. So, but this helps give him a more warrior-like appearance. And as far as the armor harness goes, it looks great, but it's not quite big enough. Every time you try to get both straps secured, one of them will come out because it's just not long enough. But other than that, it looks great, and the figure actually looks a little odd without it. So there is that. That's my final thoughts on this guy. That does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews or just help the channel out further, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.